As history proves time and again, there is no such thing as burning it all down with some vision of starting over, because when it's burned down, your enemy, not you, moves in to rule over the ashes. Patriots are beginning to get hemmed in, partially from the left, partially from Islam, and partially from their own infighting. First, the infighting. It's largely caused by a bloodthirst for clicks, to be the influencer who emerges as the new kingmaker among patriots. It's even split now into three factions. It's not just MAGA anymore, but also now America First, and most recently, America Only. All three of them warring over largely Israel in some form or another, but also Charlie Kirk. And theories abound about who killed him, or rather, who were the plotters who killed him. But even that division has Israel in the mix. Israel is genuinely, or in the conspiracy world, connected to practically everything. Epstein was a Mossad agent. Charlie was assassinated by Mossad. JFK even killed by them. We're not here to discuss the validity or invalidity of all of those various things and hundreds of others, but rather to say how all this is going to sort itself out, if it does, in time for the midterms, is anyone's guess, because none of the egos involved with all of this seem to be willing to move an inch. In the meantime, the left and Islam, and it sounds weird, they've formed a kind of coalition. By the way, it sounds weird because it is weird, which is beyond weird, except for their shared hatred of America. See Zohran Mamdani, communist Muslim, a label that makes zero sense, but here we are. That common theme, hating America, could be enough to propel them to winning soon, and after the entire Patriot movement is in tatters, they could then duke it out for control. Gays on the left, you better not get too chummy with your Muslim BFF, because it's always just a pretty short trip to the nearest rooftop. Likewise, Muslims should also keep an eye peering out from beneath the hijabs, because the left hates God and religion. Each side will put up with the other, having found their common enemy, but once that enemy is defeated, patriots take note, then it will be a fight to the death between Muslims and commies. Of course, for patriotic Americans, that ain't going to matter, because we'll have been the first to be defeated, and we won't be alive to see who ultimately wins. Whatever one thinks of the very visible splits in the MAGA movement over the issue of Israel, or Charlie and Israel, or Epstein, or whatever, they have now become greater than the divisions on the left, and they portend a horrific storm if things don't change, and change real fast. From a patriot perspective, it's hard to determine which is the most potent threat, Islam or communism. Both are deadly, but united, for the moment anyway, it's practically unstoppable because their shared hate is remarkable. They correctly smell blood in the water. The common thread is this: they each hate, they loathe Christianity. Communism hates it because it prevents slavery of the soul to an inhuman political ideology. Islam hates Christianity because the very tenets of Islam are a perverted theology, I use the word sparingly, which preaches death and domination for all non-Muslims. Thousands of African Catholics, for example, have been butchered, blown up, and beheaded by Muslims in just the past 2 years alone. The union of Muslims and commies, it's kind of like a cutthroat version of racquetball or squash, where there's three opponents inside that court, and they're all battling each other. Once two sense weakness in the third, they ally with each other and they move in for the kill, content to battle each other later. We're going to kick that can down the road for final victory. This is the real battle against this two-headed monster, but conservative influencers, driven by their lust for clicks, either don't get it or they're willing to burn it all down. As history proves time and again, there is no such thing as burning it all down with some vision of starting over, because when it's burned down, your enemy, not you, moves in to rule over the ashes. Then they begin building because you are dead. Coming to you from Houston, Texas, I'm Gary Michael Voris. God love you.